Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala.
I wanted to adopt. Si Bong ang may ayaw. Ang feeling ko kasi that has to be mutually agreed by both parties.
Shocking scandal. Alex Eala explodes at Abunda before Australian Open 2026. What's up, champions? Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, where we bring you the most explosive stories from the world of tennis. And today, oh boy, do we have a bombshell for you. If you thought you knew everything about Alexandra Eala, the sweet, humble princess of Philippine tennis, you need to buckle up because what we're about to reveal will absolutely shake you to your core. This is not just another tennis story. This is drama, controversy, fire, and the making of a champion who is done playing nice. Before we dive into this madness, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell because you do not want to miss a single update on what's about to unfold at the Australian Open. Trust me, this is going to be wild. So here's what happened. Picture this scene. A closed-door interview. The lighting is perfect, the cameras are rolling, and sitting across from our tennis prodigy is none other than Abunda, the king of talk himself, the legendary host who has interviewed everyone from presidents to pop stars. This was supposed to be a simple pre-Australian Open interview. You know the type, just some feel-good content about training, excitement for Melbourne, maybe a message to the fans. Standard stuff, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Sources inside that studio are telling us that the moment Alex Eala walked into that room, something was different. She wasn't wearing her usual bright smile. She looked focused, intense, maybe even a little on edge. The crew noticed it immediately. There was tension in the air, thick enough to cut with a knife. And when the interview started, things went south faster than anyone could have predicted. According to multiple witnesses who were present during the taping, Abunda began pressing Alex on a topic that has been a sore point for years. Her training base. For those who don't know, Alex has spent the majority of her tennis career training at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, traveling across Europe and America for tournaments, working with international coaches, and basically living the life of a global athlete. And you know what? Good for her. That's exactly what you need to do if you want to become a world-class player. But not everyone sees it that way. Critics back home have been throwing shade at Alex for years, calling her privileged, saying she's disconnected from the local struggle, questioning whether she's even Filipino enough because she doesn't train in Manila. It's absolute nonsense, but it's the kind of toxic criticism that wears on you, especially when you're giving everything you have to represent your country on the biggest stages in the world. And apparently, Abunda decided to lean into that narrative during the interview. Now, we don't have the full unedited footage yet, but what witnesses are saying is absolutely jaw-dropping. According to people who were in that room, Abunda leaned forward and made a comment that crossed the line. He allegedly told Alex, in a dismissive tone, something along the lines of go to rich America and get out of the Philippines. Just let that sink in for a moment. Imagine dedicating your entire life to making your country proud, sacrificing your childhood, your teenage years, your relationships. Also, you can wave that Filipino flag on the international stage, and then having someone tell you to get out. That was the moment everything exploded. Alex Eala did not cry. She did not look down. She did not apologize. Instead, she stood up from her chair, and according to everyone in that studio, she unleashed a roar that absolutely stunned the entire crew. "Shut up. You don't understand me, and you have no right to order me around." Those were the words that echoed through that studio, leaving Abunda, the man who has interviewed the toughest personalities in Philippine entertainment, sitting there in complete shock, pale as a ghost. But Alex wasn't finished. Not even close. Witnesses say she reached into her bag and pulled out a thick stack of documents. These weren't just random papers. These were heavy, official-looking files, and she didn't gently hand them over for review. Oh no. She slammed them onto the floor with such force that the sound reverberated through the entire room. The crew froze. The cameras were still rolling. Nobody knew what to do. What were those documents? That's the million-dollar question, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But here's where it gets even crazier. After slamming those papers down, Alex reportedly turned the tables completely. She pointed directly at Abunda and revealed something, some kind of dark secret that the host allegedly never wanted exposed. Now, We can't legally say exactly what that revelation was because nothing has been officially confirmed, but sources are whispering that it had something to do with business dealings, political connections, or maybe even a personal betrayal. Whatever it was serious enough that the director in the control room immediately started screaming to cut the feed. Panic ensued. Cut it. Cut the cameras. The screens went black. But it was already too late. About 30 seconds of that raw, unfiltered confrontation had leaked online before they could shut it down, and the internet absolutely exploded. Within hours, clips were circulating on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. The hashtag #AlexEala screams was trending worldwide. Filipino households were talking about nothing else. Was she right to stand up for herself? Was she disrespectful? Did Boy Abunda deserve it? The debate was raging, and it still is. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this is a disaster. Eala just destroyed her reputation. She's going to be canceled. Her sponsors are going to drop her. This is the end of her career. But here's the thing, and this is what makes this story so incredible. While the tabloids in Manila were having a field day with the scandal, while the gossip shows were dissecting every frame of that leaked footage, Eala was already on a plane to Australia. And what did she do when she got there? Did she hide? Did she issue an apology? Did she crumble under the pressure? Absolutely not. She went straight to work. Let's talk about what happened on the court, because this is the part that the mainstream media is completely ignoring. They're so obsessed with the drama that they're missing the real story. Alex landed in Auckland for the ASB Classic, and she played like an absolute beast. We're talking about a level of aggression and intensity that we haven't seen from her in years. She was hitting the ball harder, moving faster, playing with a fire in her eyes that frankly looked terrifying for her opponents. She stormed through the early rounds and took down Poland's Magda Linette, a seasoned veteran, someone who has been on tour for over a decade and knows every trick in the book. Alex dismantled her. It wasn't even close. She reached the semifinals where she faced China's Wang Xinyu. And okay, yes, she lost that match. The critics immediately jumped on it. See, she can't handle the pressure. She's distracted by the scandal. She's mentally weak. But anyone who actually watches tennis knows that reaching the semis of a WTA tournament is an incredible achievement, especially when you're dealing with the kind of media firestorm that Alex was facing. And then came the Kuyang Classic. Now, technically, Kuyang is an exhibition event, but don't tell that to the players because they treat it like a grand slam. The field was absolutely stacked with top players using it as their final tune-up before the Australian Open, and waiting there for Alex was none other than Donna Vekic, the Croatian powerhouse who reached the Wimbledon semifinals last year. Vekic is an absolute nightmare to play against. She hits the ball flat and hard with almost no spin, which means it skids through the court at lightning speed. She's beat top 10 players. She's been to the deep rounds of majors. And what did Eala do? She didn't just beat her. She dominated her. On a sun-drenched Friday afternoon in Melbourne, Eala was crowned the champion of the Kuyang Classic, lifting the Yvonne Goolagong Collie Trophy high above her head. And let me tell you, the look on her face was pure ice-cold confidence. This wasn't the girl who screamed at Boy Abunda. This was a champion. In the press conference afterward, she was asked about the chaotic few weeks leading up to the tournament, all the travel, all the noise, all the controversy. And her response was absolutely perfect. It was great for confidence, she said calmly. You know, to get matches in always helps before the slams. So yeah, I'm confident with how I'm playing. It doesn't mean the matches aren't going to be tough here, so I'm ready for anything. Did you catch that? I'm ready for anything. Does that sound like someone who's rattled? Does that sound like someone who's breaking down under pressure? Not even close. That sounds like a woman who has finally found her edge, who has discovered that fire you absolutely need if you want to be a champion at the highest level. So now, the stage is set. The drama is theoretically behind her, though let's be honest, this story is far from over. The trophy from Kuyang is in her bag, and she has arrived at Melbourne Park for the 2026 Australian Open. This is a massive moment for Alex because for the first time in her career, she has direct entry into the main draw of a Grand Slam. No more grueling qualifying rounds. No more playing on the back courts against complete unknowns. She is seated. She belongs. She has earned this. And the draw? Oh, the draw is absolutely fascinating. On Monday, January 19th, Eala will step onto the court for her first-round match, and standing across the net will be American powerhouse Alicia Parks. Now, if you just look at the rankings, you might think this is a straightforward match. Alex is ranked number 49 in the world, a career high. Parks is sitting at number 100. On paper, Alex should win this, right? But if you actually know anything about Alicia Parks, you know this is going to be an absolute war. Let me tell you about Alicia Parks because this woman is one of the most dangerous floaters in women's tennis. When she's off, she's really off. She'll miss the court by 10 feet. She'll double fault 5 times in a set. But when she's on, when she's locked in and feeling it, she is completely unplayable. Parks has one of the biggest serves in the entire women's game. We're talking Venus Williams territory here. She actually shares the record for the fastest serve in U.S. Open history with Venus. She can bomb aces down the tee at over 120 miles per hour that you literally don't even see until they're already past you. Back in 2023, Parks won the Lyon Open, absolutely destroying everyone in her path. Here at the Australian Open in 2024, she went on an incredible run, reaching the 3rd round. She beat Leylah Fernandez, our other half-Filipina favorite. She beat Sarah Bijlek. It took Coco Gauff, literally one of the best players in the world, to finally stop her. Alicia Parks loves hard courts. The ball skids fast off the surface, which makes her massive serve even more deadly. And right now, she's hungry. She's dropped in the rankings, and she's looking to climb back up. She sees Alex Eala, a 20-year-old who's known more for her clay court game, as a potential stepping stone back into the top 50. So how does Alex win this match? How does she take all that emotion, all that anger, all that fire from the boy Abunda confrontation and channel it into a victory on court? The keys to this match are actually pretty clear, but executing them is going to be incredibly difficult. First and foremost, Alex absolutely cannot afford to be passive on the return of serve. Parks is going to be firing missiles at her. We're talking serve after serve at speeds that most players can't handle. Alex needs to use every advantage she has, and one of her biggest weapons is that lefty forehand. Being a left-handed player gives you natural angles that righties struggle with, and Alex's cross-court forehand is particularly devastating. If she can consistently pull Parks out wide to her backhand side, she can create openings and dictate the rallies. The statistics show that Parks absolutely hates long rallies. Her game plan is simple. Boom, big serve. Boom, big forehand winner. Point over. If Alex can neutralize that serve, get the ball back in play, and force Parks into rallies that go longer than 4 or 5 shots, the American is going to start making errors. Parks' forehand is a weapon, but her consistency breaks down when she's forced to construct points. The second key is mental toughness, and this is where things get really interesting. We know Alex has the technical skills. We've seen her beat top players. We've seen her win titles. But does she have the mental fortitude to handle the pressure of this moment? We just watched her scream at one of the most powerful media figures in the Philippines. That shows she has fire. That shows she's not going to be pushed around. But on a tennis court, fire can burn you just as easily as it can fuel you. If Parks comes out and hits 3 aces in a row in the first game, how will Alex respond? Will she smash her racket in frustration? Will she let the doubt creep in? Or will she take a deep breath, reset, and trust her game plan? This is where those mysterious documents come back into the story, and I have a theory about what was in those papers that Alex slammed onto the floor during that interview. Multiple sources are suggesting, and this is still unconfirmed, but hear me out, that those documents were her complete training logs, her medical records, detailed breakdowns of every injury she's fought through, every flight she's taken, every lonely night she's spent in a hotel room in some random city in Tunisia or France or Romania, grinding through ITF tournaments with no spectators, no prize money, just fighting to move up the rankings one spot at a time. Boy Abunda called her privileged. He told her to go to rich America. And what did she do? She pulled out the receipts. She showed him, and she showed the world, exactly what it cost her to get to where she is. She didn't get here because of money or connections. She got here because she outworked everyone. She sacrificed more than most people can even imagine. And when she walks onto that court on Monday against Alicia Parks, she's not just playing for a spot in the second round. She's playing to prove a point to every single person back home who has ever doubted her, who has ever questioned her commitment, who has ever suggested she's not Filipino enough. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here, because this Australian Open represents something truly special for Alex Eala. She's 20 years old. 20. Most people at that age are still figuring out what they want to do with their lives, and Alex is ranked in the top 50 in the world at one of the most competitive sports on the planet. But it's been a long, difficult journey to get here. We watched her dominate as a junior, winning the US Open Junior title and announcing herself as a future star. Then we watched her grind through the brutal ITF circuit, playing in cities most people have never heard of, often in front of crowds of maybe 20 people, fighting for ranking points that move you up from number 600 to number 590. We watched her crash out of Australian Open qualifying 3 years in a row. 2023, heartbreak. 2024, heartbreak. 2025, heartbreak. Each time, the same questions. Is she good enough? Can she handle the pressure? Will she ever break through? But then came 2025, and everything changed. That historic run at the Miami Open where she reached the semifinals and beat a top 5 player, proving without any doubt that she belongs at the highest level. The US Open where she finally broke through and won her first-round match, beating Clara Tauson and showing she could perform on the Grand Slam stage. And now, here we are in January 2026. She's top 50 in the world. She just won the Kooyong Classic. She has momentum. She has confidence. And most importantly, she has something to prove. If she beats Alicia Parks on Monday, the draw potentially opens up for her. The confidence builds even more. The entire nation of the Philippines, all 110 million people, will be rallying behind her. Tennis fans around the world will start paying attention. The narrative practically writes itself. The girl who was told to get out of the Philippines comes back and conquers the Australian Open. It's the kind of underdog story that Netflix makes documentaries about, that inspires the next generation of Filipino athletes. But before any of that can happen, she has to survive Monday. And make no mistake, this match against Parks is going to be an absolute battle. The tennis world is split right now on who's going to win. Some analysts are saying Parks has too much power, that the fast courts of Melbourne Park favor her aggressive, serve-dominated style, that Alex's second serve is still too vulnerable and Parks will attack it relentlessly. But there are others, the ones who watched Alex at Kooyong, the ones who saw that fire in her eyes, the ones who saw the clip of her standing up to Abunda and refusing to back down. They're saying something completely different. They're saying Alex Eala has finally found her inner champion. She's found that edge, that nastiness, that absolute refusal to lose that separates the good players from the great ones. She's no longer the polite kid asking for permission to be at the table. She's the woman demanding her seat and daring anyone to try to take it from her. And you know what? I think they might be right. Look at the recent form. Alicia Parks is 1 win and 2 losses to start the season. She lost early in Auckland. She failed to even qualify for the tournament in Hobart. Her confidence has to be shaky right now. Meanwhile, Alex Eala made the semifinals in Auckland and then won the championship at Kooyong. She's playing the best tennis of her life at exactly the right moment. The trends are in her favor. The momentum is in her favor. And that anger, that fire that exploded during the Abunda interview, that is absolutely in her favor too. There's one more element to this story that we need to address, and it's the elephant in the room. What exactly was the dark secret that Alex revealed about Abunda? What was so damaging, so explosive, that the producers immediately cut the broadcast feed? Our team is still investigating. We're combing through archives, reaching out to sources, trying to piece together exactly what happened in those final moments before the cameras went black. Was it about a business deal that went wrong? Was it about political connections that Abunda didn't want exposed? Or was it something more personal, a betrayal of trust that Alex has been holding on to for years, waiting for exactly the right moment to strike back? We don't have all the answers yet, but I promise you this. When that story breaks, when we finally get to the bottom of what really happened in that studio, you will hear about it here, first on Champions Tennisitics. Because unlike the mainstream media that's just chasing clicks and sensational headlines, we're actually doing the investigative work to bring you the truth. But here's what we know for certain right now. Alex slammed those documents down for a reason. She wanted the world to know that she is not afraid of the establishment, not afraid of powerful media figures, not afraid of anyone who tries to diminish her or question her dedication. And that fearless attitude? That's exactly what you need to win a Grand Slam. You need to be willing to stand up for yourself. You need to be willing to fight. You need to have the courage to look your critics in the eye and say, "You're wrong about me, and I'm going to prove it." So here's the bottom line, champions. Monday, January 19th. Alex Eala versus Alicia Parks. Australian Open, first round. This is not just another tennis match. This is so much bigger than that. You're watching a young woman fight for her identity, for her place in the sport, for the respect she's earned through years of sacrifice and dedication. You're watching her response to every critic, every hater, every talk show host who thought they could push her around and tell her she doesn't belong. She told them to shut up. Now she's going to let her racket do the talking. Will she crumble under the weight of all this pressure and controversy? Or will she use the heat, use the fire, use all that emotion to forge a victory that announces her arrival as a legitimate Grand Slam contender? I think we all know what's going to happen. I think Alex Eala is about to shock the world. Now I want to hear from you. Head down to the comments right now because I have some questions and I want your honest opinions. First, do you think Alex was right to scream at Abunda? Was she justified in standing up for herself like that? Or did she cross a line and show disrespect? Second, who do you think wins on Monday? Are we going to see Alex Eala in straight sets? Or is Alicia Parks going to blast her off the court with that massive serve? And third, this is the big one. What do you think was in those secret documents that Alex slammed on the floor? What was she trying to prove? Let me know your theories in the comments. If you want to support Alex Eala and show her that the real fans have her back no matter what, smash that like button right now. Share this video with every tennis fan you know, every Filipino friend, every sports lover who appreciates a great underdog story. And most importantly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because we are going to be covering every single moment of Alex's Australian Open journey. We'll have post-match analysis, press conference reactions, exclusive insights, and yes, continued updates on the Abunda situation as more information comes to light. This is Champions Tennisitics, your home for tennis news that actually matters, stories that go deeper than the surface, and coverage that respects the athletes and the sport. The game is on, champions. Alex Eala's moment has arrived, and we're going to be here for every single second of it. Let's go.
I wanted to adapt. Si Bong ang may ayaw. Ang feeling ko kasi that has to be mutually agreed by both parties.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin at